What's up guys, Kevin Cage here, hope all is well. Be sure to check the links in the video description. So we're right here, we have Christine Lagarde mentioning, notice she calls XRP Ripple because that's what it used to be called back in the day, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm going to play this video clip at the end. I feel it is very telling on where this society is going in terms of cashless, less cash, in a more focused basically framework on overall digitalization and interoperability across the board. Notice they are aiming for a spot in this cashless world, this digital world, and she's talking about some of the top payment providers that are doing the same thing with upgrading all of their systems. We'll also talk about the Swiss Parliament. They've upgraded some regulations, some clarity on DLT specifically. It is all happening right in front of our eyes. Yes, I know we are looking at typical price channels being trapped for crypto assets, but you have to understand that cannot last forever. So without further ado, let's get into the information. So I want to kick things off. I know this came out the other day regarding Polysign and Bismuth, another cryptocurrency. Polysign, this has XRP and Ripple all over it. Just to touch on this before I go into Bismuth briefly, I want to show. So for any newcomers, Polysign.io is the website, building the future of digital assets. We all want, obviously cryptocurrency to play a role in the future financial system. And before any true institutional money can come into this ecosystem, what do we need? Well, we need infrastructure. We need the pathways, the roads for these so-called cars to function, correct? We need regulations. We need clarity, not just rules, but we need clarity on what you cannot do and what you can do. And what else do we need? We need custody. We need to ensure that there is proper security for these banks, these financial institutions, and people to have accounts to truly secure their assets. Because if you're going to digitalize hundreds of millions and even billions and trillions of dollars, which are mentioned below, you need to ensure that those funds are safe, accessible, you know who can access them, etc. So this is simply where we are today, and there is no doubt in my mind that Polysign will play a big role in the future. There are plenty of NDAs currently. David Schwartz, and we'll kind of go over the caliber of people that are backing this ecosystem. Polysign was even speaking at an IMF event in the past. It is pretty clear to me that they are going to be a big player. Notice, state-of-the-art, secure, scalable infrastructure for financial institutions to fully leverage their digital assets. What did State Street say in the past? And they roughly hold about $30 trillion of the world's wealth, I should say. All right, a huge custodian. Well, BlackRock, Robbie Mitchnick, head of blockchain for them. He was formerly at Ripple with Susan Athey, and they wrote the XRP valuation framework. We can go right here, the opportunity of a generation, talking about this. You can check all of this proprietary technology, NDAs, security, etc. Now, notice this. When Silicon Valley meets Wall Street, Ripple, the boys, the private boys over on Silicon, one of the highest valued private companies, meets the boys on Wall Street. Of course, we have David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, chief cryptographer at Ripple Labs, co-designer of the XRP ledger. All right, we know him. Arthur Brito, the ghost, the man, the myth, the legend. A lot of people want to respect his privacy. I just appreciate all that he has done. He's essentially the co-designer of the XRPL in tandem with Jed McCaleb. Ripple has grown to over $30 billion in assets in just 5 years. Now let's look at these other people. Antoinette O'Gorman, previously CCO at Ripple Labs, former independent consultant with the Promontory Financial Group. Notice 15 years in traditional banking at MUFG and HSBC. Both RippleNet banks, HSBC, remember we have board positions of various directors as well, having the same positions. Marcus Treacher, for example, was at HSBC as well. MUFG, one of the top 10 banks in the world. Now we have Jack McDonald. This is really cool. So talking about his business experience, notice former UBS executive. Remember, UBS is RippleNet. They also worked on that utility settlement token, and then inducted into the Global Custodians Legends of the Industry. Very cool. If Polysign is a success, they should induct David Schwartz and Arthur Brito as well. Right here, Tim Keeney, vice chairman, retired vice chairman of BNY Mellon. If you do not know the connections between BNY Mellon and Ripple already, I don't know what to tell you. It's probably in, 3,000 videos on YouTube. All right, and you guys can check that for yourselves as well. Matthew Mellon, all the backing as well, invested interests. Led organization of 25,000 people responsible for custodying 25% of global institutional assets. Interesting. So you guys decide if you think Polysign is reputable. I think these are some of the biggest names in the industry. And now let's comprehend, or at least speculate, their connections as well in this ecosystem with already some of these global banks: UBS, MUFG, HSBC, BNY Mellon. All right, let's keep going. So we already talked about that. Now let's just talk about this Bismuth stuff. So the other day, information was found on GitHub with Polysign, and we know that, obviously we hope XRP plays a fundamental role because Ripple is basically guiding this initiative. Ripple has vested interests, obviously, for XRP to be used, and not only be used, but have high volume, high throughput, and actually have high price appreciation. It is in everybody's best interest, and this is an open source protocol. As the value increases, it becomes more liquid. Well, why hasn't it done it thus far? Because we're in such times of economic uncertainty, we are simply waiting. And I know in the past we were waiting for economic uncertainty for crypto to finally decouple and explode. Well, that didn't happen. We're sitting there low with metals as well. But my bet is this, and this is just my belief, to each their own. I believe that us going into these assets such as precious metals and crypto assets that have been suppressed for multi-year bear markets will be coming out into a true bull run, just as real estate and the equities market may take a little breather. I think that it will kind of swap. I think that all markets will recover in due time, but I do expect that the crash that we've been looking for in terms of, at least in the equities market, has not happened yet. And now we have, of course, the president with this, pandemic scare. We'll see what kind of narratives play out. And I don't want to get tinfoil hatty, but it is really crazy how it is all playing out thus far. So let's take a look at here, the website. And I have all this linked and retweeted on Twitter if you want to follow me there. So bismuth.cz is the website. So this introduction: Bismuth is a new blockchain protocol and platform. We can talk about all this. Database scaling introduces the concept of private contracts. You can choose from a plethora of fully open sourced projects. And go to Bismuth. This is on CoinGecko. Just seeing the current price, there's very little volume. Look at the market cap, just 2 million. Obviously $7,000 in trading volume. Just so you know, I am not touching this asset until I fully understand the tokenomics, and then from there I'll decide if I want to risk it with that. But for now, I just think that BIS could potentially have a use case. I know it is, proposal phase. It's on some very sketchy exchanges for now. We'll see. So I am not advocating you guys buy it, but I want to show you the connections because BIS, this crypto asset, is mentioned with Polysign on GitHub. Notice Polysign released Polysign PIP module for Bismuth, handles the various cryptographic primitives Bismuth cryptocurrency supports. So very, very interesting. Again, GitHub links, Bismuth, pypi.org as well. So you can go through all of this if you'd like, if you do have a GitHub account. So very interesting that we have Polysign actually naming another crypto asset. We'll see what kind of crypto assets will actually serve specific purposes. It's going to be more than one. It will not just be XRP. I'm very certain of that. All right, there's plenty of vested interest in the space, and there's going to be plenty of assets that solve real problems at scale. And obviously, I'm most bullish on XRP because it truly is going to be solving one of the greatest problems, which is the friction in the payments ecosystem. Whether you believe it is just mere remittance or it will be the derivatives market, I don't care. I'm just basically arguing that XRP will be solving some problems and is today. We have, new corridors announced with Thailand, which we saw coming. We have the Philippine peso, the Mexican peso, solving real problems for real customers, and you own a piece of that protocol. Fear not with any short-term price swings, whether it's up 20%, down 20%, I couldn't care less. I'm simply waiting for true utility to push this price up, and I'm so sick of this suppression, whether it be whales or algorithms, whatever you believe. So we can just talk about this. This is just on pypi.org if you want to look into this as well. And then this is Bismuth's website talking about all of the capabilities and a little bit more information about it. I have to look more into this, but you can also look at the people behind this ecosystem. Check out their LinkedIn and see if you want to draw any connections or dot connections for fun. I have yet to do that, so I will be doing that. And Bismuth. So this is just coingecko.com if you want to check it out. And yeah, there's very, very few exchanges. I've really never heard of any of these. And obviously these price swings, the spreads, it's so volatile when there's just this little amount of money available in the ecosystem. But yeah, I'm really excited and curious to see what more comes out of it and what the other great XRP community members are going to find. All right, so I wanted to cover this. So Crypto Whale sharing this, and this is just spelling it all out for us, guys. Regulation is coming. Regulation is essentially here on a daily basis. So just as I personally believe, and maybe you believe XRP is a security, I completely disagree. I think even if XRP was, for a Ripple will get fined for early on practices, just like EOS, that cryptocurrency was. That's all that's going to happen. They're going to, kind of get a no, and that's it. Pay some fines and be done with it, just like anything. And I mean, banks do this on a daily basis. It should be no surprise. We have lobbyists in DC. They're highly, highly connected. The former CFTC chairman, I mean, for God's sake, he's an advisor for Ripple, and his law firm represents Ripple. Couldn't really be any more clear. And the world's run by money. So right here, breaking: CFTC charges BitMEX, that exchange, owners with illegally operating a crypto derivatives trading platform, an anti-money laundering violation. Really interesting that they are getting yelled at for this. And obviously, I can't believe it's gone on this long. And funny enough, shortly after, what does Ripple do? Comes out with a patent for derivatives. And we know all of the other things they've been working on, like Vega Protocol, which we've talked about a lot as well. So I'm going to speed through this. If you want to read this, highly recommend it. For all of you that are trading on BitMEX, I know there are a lot of people that trade, leverage trading on BitMEX. Please just be careful. I'm not going to give you trading advice, financial advice. Just, be aware of this type of regulation and, smashing down. This is also interesting. So digital assets hold great promise for our derivatives markets and for our economy, said Chairman Heath Tarbert. For the United States to be a global leader in the space, it is imperative that we root our illegal activity like that alleged in this case. New and innovative financial products can flourish only if there is market integrity. We can't allow bad actors that break the law to gain an advantage over exchanges that are doing the right thing by complying with our rules. And this is exactly just another example. And yes, I know Ripple's not an exchange, but they've been working with regulators from day one. They're working with the system from within the system. They are informing everybody, and they specifically are telling regulators what they are doing and what they will not be doing. And that is what I call clarity, and that is what I call strong fundamentals for an investment that I think is going to be here to stay. So I encourage you guys to read this whole release as well. Now, right here, so Coil with web monetization, we know that obviously anyone that has a Coil account, you pay $5 a month, and if you're a content creator, whether it's videos, a blogger, you can get paid in microtransactions of XRP. Now we have Stephen Thomas. He was the former CTO of Ripple. Remember, the founder of Ethereum was sleeping on his couch years ago. And I mean, Stefan understood that Ethereum, there's going to be trade-offs, and they're working on some solutions that will really work. And yes, I like Ethereum, but look at the issues that it's running into now. And can you tell me any, at least performance issues that XRP is running into today? I cannot think of a single one, because now we also have Flare. So smart contracts, settlement, everything, throughput, nothing to worry about for me at least. All right, so right here, if you woke up today to find out that Google is going to cut off your ad revenue because your website is written in the wrong language, take a look at open web monetization. It's available for all languages. Absolutely crazy. So Google Ads is telling them that, their policy is prohibiting their monetization of web pages. This is highly silly. And notice Stephen Thomas is just pointing out that Coil is working on some great things. Obviously, they have a bunch of XRP. They were gifted quite a lot. They're expanding the ecosystem just like Spring is doing the same thing. This is why I'm confident in the future of digitalization on a level playing field. It's about interoperability, not forcing any asset or anything down anybody's throat. They're putting out great information, great technology, and simply, the best will survive. All right, wanted to touch on this. I know this was last week. So Ripple Matchmaking effort discovered featuring 170 plus financial institutions. Very, very cool. If you guys do not follow XRP_Storts and also Crypto Addy and then also Consistent Benny, they put this together and it's Ripple's matchmaking organizations and put them into a list. We have 170 plus RippleNet members. Really, really cool to see all of this. I believe they took the link down unless there is a password. I was trying to read through and understand what was going on, but you can actually see connections, and some of these companies were not publicly mentioned. So really, really interesting. Focusing on, obviously, you can see ODL specifically. All right. And know, whether or not they have ODL capability or potential hints on, which corridors would be coming soon. Really interesting. All right. Next, Matthew L.I.N.Y. Swiss Parliament approves new DLT Regulations distributed ledger tech. Really exciting here. And obviously, I'm going to just show you the press release on the website. Last Friday, they approved the new regulations for blockchain and DLT framework. Thereby, Switzerland, I almost said Swissland, Switzerland has taken a further step to remain a key jurisdiction for fintech, blockchain, and DLT tech, respective projects. The new legal framework is expected to enter into force early of 2021. Now, just in a nutshell right here, we can see DLT activities that will benefit from the new DLT framework are the following: security token exchanges, okay, which obviously we've been seeing a lot of information on recently. Custody service provider, clearer and lighter regulatory regime for digital asset custody providers. Interesting, because I know we were just talking about custody with Polysign. And then security token issuers, just like Securitize. Who invested into Securitize? Ripple and Coinbase. Really, really interesting. All right, so introduction for a civil law concept for digital securities, asset tokenization, enabling the creation and transaction of digital uncertified securities in a DLT ecosystem without legal uncertainties. Notice they cannot have any legal uncertainties. That will come back to bite them. So they have to be sure. And this is why it seems like everything is just dragging out and taking so long. If you have doubt in your investment, I don't really understand that, specifically if it's XRP, because this couldn't be more clear. We are seeing literally parliaments around the globe approving regulations step by step. Now, I am certain that not every project will survive, just like some of the biggest names in the world have said. I'm listening to what the regulators are saying. I think that they are not really, I think they're telling the truth. Let's just say that. And I'm pretty certain that XRP will be one of them that is safe and safeguarded and here to stay for many reasons that I cover. And last but not least, I want to show Madame Christine Lagarde, formerly the director of the International Monetary Fund. Now she is, of course, the president of the European Central Bank. And just listen to her discussion talking about cashless digitalization and then mentioning crypto assets at the end. This is shared by Status, and his website is status.hr if you want to find some cool Ripple infographics.
So what role will remain for cash in this digital world? There are already signs in some shop windows. Cash not accepted. And it's not just in Scandinavia, the poster child of a cashless world. In various other countries too, demand for cash is decreasing, as is shown in our IMF work. And in 10, 20, 30 years' time, who will still be exchanging those pieces of paper called checks? Bank deposit, too, is feeling the pressure from new forms of money. Think of the new specialized payment.
And also think of those new digital wallets that will be coming in 2021 for bank accounts as well.
Providers that offer e-money. From Alipay to WeChat in China, to Paytm in India, to M-Pesa in Kenya.
Remember M-Pesa with Safaricom as well. We've talked about them. We can talk about Alipay with a lot of things that they're working on with Standard Chartered and their new platform Trustful for cross-border payments. And we can also talk about dLocal, which is a partner of them and partner of Ripple. So they have vested interest. There's connections. I'm not saying they're using XRP. What I'm saying is that more and more fintechs are almost integrating one another's services for the keyword interoperability.
These forms of money are designed with the digital.
And also, this is dumb, but I just want to clear it up. The reason why interoperability is important and why everybody can interoperate and be connected to one another, it basically creates a level playing field so that the best protocols, the best assets, the best businesses will survive and thrive instead of monopolies per se. It's going to be based off of technology, efficiency, cost, all of the above.
Economy in mind. They respond to what people demand and what the economy requires. Even cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple are vying for a spot in the cashless world, constantly reinventing themselves in the hope of offering more stable value and quicker and cheaper settlement.
Interesting. And by reinventing themselves, more so staying up to date, making sure they're enabling, always advancing. I don't know what Bitcoin is doing personally, besides the promise of a lightning network that seems to never come and that even has issues within itself. Ethereum trying to migrate, we'll simply see. If you guys have been paying attention to the statements of Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, you may not be super confident in the ecosystem. And then we also have to understand how many thousands of tokens reside on the Ethereum blockchain. I do have faith in a lot of these projects. Yes, they can mainnet, they can go to their own blockchain, they can migrate to proof of stake. There's going to be trade-offs for each thing. But I'm just telling you, when you take into consideration what she's saying here, what you look at with Ripple and Energy Web specifically going on this decarbonization mission, it's painting a very evident picture. I think we can agree that XRP will be here to stay, based off of everything that they have going for it, not only the money, not only the people, not only the regs, not only the actual technology within itself, but just the overall friction in the payments ecosystem today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.